Okay then. Let's attempt to open, shall we?
It feels awkward, doesn't it?
Now it's time to laugh at you as you do the intro.
It is. It's like, quick, turn the webcams off. Welcome one and all to the first episode of The Fact Bar, a fact-themed companion miniseries brought to you by the editors. I'm Brad, and I'll be your host for today. I'm joined by fellow editors Nisha and Lucas.
Oh no.
So that's what the script said. Oh dear. No, of course, this is episode 3. I'm Lucas, and I'm joined by Nisha and Brad, presumably either side of me, I'm not sure. And yeah, today we're here to bring you some other fun things to talk about. So with me editing like wiki weekends, a lot of the time I'm not doing like much extra fact checking because presumably the people writing the wikis should have done that. But I just, wanted to bring to the table something I've found interesting that I've been looking into myself over the past like couple of months, and that's just like weird ways that game developers fucked over people for pirating their games. There's little ones that I've seen before of like, I think it was like one of the Far Cry games. They just removed a couple of the options in the settings. So when people went onto forums complaining like, well, I can't change my field of view. Where the fuck's it gone? This must be a glitch. It's like, no, that's just you didn't buy the game. Go buy the game, you'll have that setting. And it's just a minor inconvenience to piss them off.
God.
It's curious you bring this topic up because I believe one of our party had one of these games as a child.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Was it Spyro?
It was.
Because I had Spyro on the list of one.
Yeah, the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't buy this myself because I was a child. I was bought this or given this. I don't know. Just this.
It found its way into your possession.
Yes. I had this copy of Spyro 3 and I could not complete it because it got to a point when you got to the last world, because there was 4 worlds, you got to the last world and then you'd need so many eggs to fight the boss, that sort of thing. When you think, I'll go back and collect the rest of the eggs in the other worlds, when you go to the balloon, which takes you to them, only the first and last worlds existed. Like, the other 2 had just disappeared. So you couldn't go to those other 2 worlds and, like, complete the game. And then there was also, is it Zoe? The fairy. If you talk to her at one point, she tells you you've got a fake copy of the game.
Apparently that's, like, individual to your case, but there would be random modifiers selected, so it would be like, when you end the level and go back to the home world, it just puts you back at the start of the level again. Or, is it Moneybags? When he asks you to like unlock a new location, he'll sometimes just ask for money to unlock the location again. And you like got to rebuy to get back into the same place.
Classic Moneybags.
That's just, mine was just like, the world's disappeared, so you couldn't like go back and fetch the rest of the eggs. Mm-hmm. So you could not finish the game. And it used to stress me out.
I'm aware of a few of these, and I'm guessing, Lucas, you've got a list. A
few, yeah.
The one that I always remember, my favourite one, is the Serious Sam one.
That's like the invincible thing that hunts you down, right?
Yeah, they just spawn in this like really weird red lobster thing that you can't kill, and it'll just murder you repeatedly. And it's like, I just thought that was such a brilliant way of just being like, fuck you. Just putting something in the game that you can't get rid of.
Thing is that makes challenge runs available though, doesn't it? You could like have a games done quick version of Serious Sam where you play the cheated version, like the illegitimate copy where you've got to run away from this giant lobster man.
I just thought of them. There was one for Game Dev Simulator, whatever that was called.
Another one on my list, Game Dev Tycoon. Yes. This one was great because the entire premise of the game is you are a developer. It's similar to Roller Coaster Tycoon where you own a roller coaster park. You're a game dev tycoon, you own a game development company, and then every time you launch a game, the game starts off earning a bit of money and then all of a sudden stops earning anything, and it's like, oh no, your game failed due to piracy, sorry. And every single time you make a game, it just fails because of piracy, and then people were complaining about it again online. It's really unfair because people keep pirating my games every time. And it's just like,
The irony, it's so obvious. What other examples have you got then? Because like I always find these hilarious. They look great.
So a couple more that I've got jotted down is like in Zelda Spirit Tracks on the DS, the game just doesn't put any of the touchscreen UI on the game, and it like doesn't exist. So it goes through the opening cinematics and stuff, and then it's like, oh, okay, now get in your train and conduct your train. And all of the controls are like the speed up, the whistle, the fire cannons and stuff is all on the bottom screen. So instead of changing tracks and speeding up and getting like cattle to move out your way with the whistle, you just plow in a straight line and just don't ever get to your destination. And I think one of my favourite ones is just in Batman Arkham Asylum. Do you know this one?
Yeah, I've heard it. It's which one is it? Is it the one where you can't jump or something? Which one was it?
You can jump, but Batman can't use his cape. So you're like just a really slow, cumbersome, inefficient Batman. And then it reaches a point in the game where you have to glide to like progress over a cavern or whatever, so you can't get past that point. But until that point, you're just like a really shit Batman that can't get anywhere.
I think Spyro was the only game I had which I noticed like bugs.
I never pirated any games, so I wouldn't know.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. As a kid, I also got given like copied games and stuff.
Like chipped games.
Chipped chipped PlayStation. I still have that somewhere.
It's like I didn't know any better. All that happened is like somebody told me, "Look, I can now get you a PlayStation game for £2." I was like, "Oh yeah, cool. I'm 5 years old. I don't understand what's going on."
Yeah, I used to sell them at car boot sales for like £1.50 or something. Like, oh my god.
Well, we're on the topic of chipped games. There's something I saw recently which you guys may be familiar with, but there's a case mod for the PS2. And what it does is you replace the top piece of it, and it has an extra disc opening section on top. Apparently, the part of the console that like is able to detect if a game is legit happens when the disc tray first goes in. So you put a legit game in the disc tray and close it, and once it closes, you then open the top compartment, take out the real disc, and replace it with a fake disc, and the console still thinks there's a legit disc in the system. So yeah,
weird.
Just the ways people will try to get around the buying a product, I guess.
Yeah, older games that didn't have such sophisticated systems used to give you like physical items with like the PC games. I know a famous one is it's The Secret of Monkey Island, and they give you basically like 2 wheels with pictures of characters' faces on, and then when you boot up the game, it will show you like the top half of a face and the bottom half of a face. You have to match them up on your pinwheel, and it creates a code.
Ooh.
And that was like a physical way that
That's so weird.
people could like have verification on them. But then obviously over the years, now that the internet's a way more popular thing, people have just put all of that kind of stuff online for you to use. But yeah, back in the day, it was just, well, this is the only way we could do it is have, non-shareable physical goods.
Yeah, like I remember my Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 game. It had the thinnest like case and then the thickest manual for some reason. And that had a code on the back. And I always used to lose that, and I'd be like, now you can just look up codes.
Yeah.
And the majority of the time work. But yeah, I just remember I had the thickest manual and the thinnest
I remember
case.
the days of there being like a CD key written on a bit of paper on the inside. The most annoying one of those I had recently, it wasn't a game. So I think it was this microphone I'm using now. When I bought this, it came with a little leaflet on the inside of the box that said, with this microphone you get access to a piece of software that you can use with it that allow you to do it. Like, it's an audio editing software. And I looked up and it was a pretty decent one. So I was like, well, I'll keep that bit of paper to one side. And I'll obviously be able to install that at a later date. So it came around, a mistake was made. It came to a later date, and I was like, I'm going to install this software. So I got this piece of paper and I turned it over and it said, for your product key, look on the back of the box. Now, this is flawed in many ways. The first of which is that anyone can look at the back of the box. This is the reason why those crisp packet giveaways have started putting like the code you have to put online inside a pack rather than on the back. But the second and most important reason that this is a bad idea, I threw the box away. So I don't get that software.
It's also
That's
funny that
annoying.
you mentioned that, because like I think it was like either Pringles or similar thing had a code on like the inside of the foil when you open it up, like to keep it fresh. And I just walked into a shop like a few weeks back, and there's just a stack on a shelf of just a bunch of tubes that have all just been torn open to look at all the codes. I'm like, oh
no. So bad.
I was thinking earlier on this topic, so what do you think would be the funniest way to deter a pirate from playing your game? It depends how irritated you want them to get. Like, I think the one with the Gaming Development Simulator, whatever it was called, that one is just genius because it's just full of irony. Like, you can't win a game because of pirates, but you pirated the game, so you're being fed your own medicine. I'm trying to think of like something that is like that, because like with the Spyro one, it let you play some of the game, and you were a child, so you still got enjoyment from what you got from the game. Even though if I'd have done that, I'd have snapped that disc in half, because I was a completionist as a kid, and it would have annoyed the shit out of me if I couldn't finish that game.
It bugged me for the fact I couldn't reach the end. I wasn't bothered about getting everything. I just wanted to reach the end.
I do enjoy the one for like some copies of Earthbound. Depending on which one you play, it's like you can get all the way to the final boss, and then the game auto crashes and deletes your save. And it's like, I was right there. It's like, I was about to finish the game, but then at that point, I think in my head I'd just be like, I will have lost the save. I basically beat that game. It's fine.
Yeah, like you've still had the experience of playing the whole game.
I feel like if you wanted to make it kind of unplayable, you could add something that happens every like 5 minutes that you're playing it, like an annoying noise or some weird glitch. And just like, oh, fuck this, I'm not even going to bother trying. That'd be
Or
quite funny.
it could randomly just start making really loud orgasmic noises so that you get embarrassed in front of your
every
parents.
5 minutes. Every 5 minutes.
But no, not every 5 minutes, like an hour and a half into the game. So you're just playing the game normally and nothing happens, and then suddenly just like super loud, and your parents like, what are you doing? What are you playing?
Yeah, but then you've had like an hour and a half enjoyment, like with no interruptions. I thought you meant you didn't want to be able to play it at all because you just get too frustrated. So like after 5 to 10 minutes, this happens.
Just because this is going to be evident for people watching at home. Nisha's webcam just froze for like 5 seconds,
no.
and then as she was talking,
God.
it caught up as she was speaking. So you were just going to fast forward, and your whole voice was out of sync.
It wasn't my webcam. That's just me.
Yeah,
That's just me.
Just happens every now and then.
Yeah, people haven't realised
glitch a
we're
little
recording
bit.
this over Discord because it's like the amount of effort it would take to record these on our own cameras and send them. When it's like this is very much going to be an audio format if people want to just listen to it. You can see our faces, but it's mainly
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
But,
please forgive us if the webcams go a bit weird and the audio's a bit out of sync.
It's my internet is terrible, so
fair, yeah.
yeah, it's gonna happen.
But yeah, that's what I would do. I would have really awkward noises play super loud halfway through, like an hour or so into the game, and they would never stop.
I can't remember what game it was, but I saw a bit of like a clip of a game where when you go into the menu the noises are just like weird man grunts, like every time you press anything, like just mildly infuriating.
What would be? I'm trying to think of like little, like the tiniest annoying things now. What's like really irritating? Maybe like they put, like we've just been talking about
like 2 dead pixels in the middle of the screen.
we've just been talking about these the audio maybe being out of sync. Imagine if the audio was just slightly out of sync, and as the game went on, it just got worse and worse.
That's just reminded me of something else of the Spyro game. The audio was
it the looping audio?
The looping audio,
Yeah.
like you talk to someone and it would just say the same thing over and over again. I'm like, oh my god. So
That's
now
like
when
a
I play,
Skyrim glitch or something.
it's like when I hear that, when I play the original, not like the remaster, but the original Spyro 3, an actual copy of it, like a legal copy. When I hear like characters speaking, all I can think about is repeating, and
You've
it
got
drives
like
me insane, 'cause
PTSD of the flashbacks of the audio loops.
Yeah.
Like, no,
I'm just imagining.
no money bags.
I'm just going to imagine him saying it 3 times. Like, yeah. That's so frustrating.
Lucas, do you happen to know if the Spyro Reignited trilogy kept the piracy stuff in?
I am not sure on that one. I didn't actually think about checking about the remaster.
curious as to whether they would have carried that over, because it was an element of the game. And did they put the Spyro demos in? No, they put a noise in if you put the code in. Do you remember, like, Crash and Spyro used to have demos on each other's windows?
Of each other, yeah.
I think if you put those codes in, it makes a noise, but it doesn't play the demos.
Maybe there can be a fat bar below.
Oh, no, Luke, don't. It's just the fat bars, Lucas. We were talking before we recorded about whether or not we would be having images on screen or fact bars and stuff. But now he said it, I've got to put one in.
A fat bar
they'll be
within
limited.
the fat bar.
Yeah. There'll be limited fact bars, though, for some of the people listening.
Yeah.
It's extra facts. Yeah.
That's probably a good place to wrap it up. And just remember to make sure you eat your 3 chicken wings or your meat substitute option.
How is that becoming a thing?
I'm making it one now, apparently.
Oh, God. We're going to get merch done, it'll just be 3 wings. And then 3 lettuces.
Or
come to Carl at some point. We'll be like, you know, Carl, for your merch store, Carl, can we get you to do 3 wings and 3? It's like, why? Why would I put this on my store?
It's known as the Fat Fiend Buffet.
That's what we're paid in. That's the truth. Carl pays us in wings or lettuces.
Oh god, don't spread that misinformation. You know someone will take it seriously. Just tagging Carl on Twitter. Like, can't believe you pay your editors in lettuces.
God, Carl. Oh, it's a particularly good video this week. Have an extra lettuce.
That's the bonuses he talks about.
Over Christmas when he's like an extra 500, it's actually 500 lettuces.
Oh god, what do you even do with all them?
Eat them. Oh look, we've already got our own in jokes.
Perfect.
Perfect.